People spend $120,000 chasing a feeling they can't name, and most of them never get it. They buy the badge and the brochure, then drive home in a very fast, very expensive car that feels like every other very fast, very expensive German car. The Porsche feeling is real. It's measurable. It's engineering, not marketing. And the reason most buyers miss it isn't how much they spent. It's what they spent it on. We're going to look at the 3 engineering pillars that define this feeling, and the specific dollar amount mistakes that happen when you ignore them. Ferry Porsche built the car he couldn't find anywhere else. It wasn't the fastest machine on the road, and it wasn't the flashiest. It was the one that felt alive. That word gets thrown around in every car ad on Earth. So let me be specific about what it actually means. There are 3 engineering decisions that create the Porsche feeling, and if your car is missing even one, you paid for the badge and not the feeling. Start with the smallest detail, because it tells you everything. The ignition sits on the left side of the steering wheel. It's a Le Mans holdover from the days when drivers sprinted across the track, fired the engine with their left hand, and threw the car into gear with their right hand. It serves zero practical purpose on a modern road car, but Porsche kept it anyway. That's the first signal. This is a company that protects feeling over efficiency. Look at what happens when Porsche deletes the ritual. The base Macan moved the ignition to the center console, and the base Cayenne softened the pedal feel, while the 4-cylinder 718 replaced the flat 6 with a turbocharged 4 that reviewers noted sounded purposeful but lacked the distinctive flat 6 wail that defines the brand's soundtrack. These are the same models that depreciate harder and sit on lots longer than their cousins that kept the hardware. Enthusiast buyers can sense when a Porsche was built to meet a spreadsheet instead of a standard, and they vote with their wallets at resale time. The left-hand ignition is the cheapest test. If the car doesn't have it, you're already behind on the depreciation curve, which means your 6-figure purchase started losing value the moment the tires crossed the dealer's curb. The ritual is the cheapest signal. The physics is where it gets expensive. Most performance cars understeer when you push them, and the front tires wash out while the nose runs wide. The stability computer saves you from yourself, which is safe and predictable, but it's also the exact moment when the car stops talking to you. A properly balanced Porsche rotates. The mass sits low and central. The chassis pivots around you instead of plowing forward. And that's the connection owners talk about and can't explain. It isn't magic, it's weight distribution. The 718 Cayman and Boxster carry their mass between the axles. When you turn in, the chassis rotates around your hips instead of pushing the nose wide. And the steering doesn't fight you or go numb even when you're cornering at the limit of adhesion. It reports everything the front tires are doing, every ripple in the asphalt, and every degree of available grip. That isn't marketing language. That's a mid-engine layout doing exactly what physics predicts it will do. The 911 puts the mass behind the rear axle, which should create oversteer. Porsche spent 50 years tuning suspension geometry, tire width, and the electronic differential to turn that rear bias into rotation instead of treachery, and that cost is baked into every 911. When it works, the 911 feels planted through a very different layout. When it doesn't, you're managing the car instead of driving it. The steering tells you the rest. The 991 generation was the last Carrera to use hydraulic steering, and the rack feeds surface detail straight to your palms. The 992 switched to electric assistance, and Porsche has spent years tuning software to recover what the hardware lost. Buy a front-engine Porsche like the base Macan, and you get the badge. The weight is in the wrong place, the nose pushes wide, and the steering filters out the road instead of reporting it. A 300 horsepower mid-engine Cayman gives you more real connection than a 500 horsepower Macan Turbo because connection comes from layout, not the horsepower number. If you're browsing listings and see a Macan or Cayenne described as sporty, check the weight distribution specs. If they don't line up with what we've discussed, you can dismiss it as a fake Porsche feeling. But here's a $120,000 question. The feeling lives in the drivetrain, the engine's position, its character, and the way it builds. And this is the single most expensive thing to get right, which is exactly why it's the first thing buyers compromise on. Which brings us to the drivetrain. This is the single most expensive thing to get right, which is exactly why it's the first thing buyers compromise on when they open the configurator and start chasing horsepower instead of architecture. They chase the spec sheet instead of the layout, and they end up with raw numbers and no soul. The spreadsheet wins, the driver loses. Only the engine changed. The 718 lineup is the perfect laboratory because the chassis, suspension, and steering rack stayed the same, which means the only variable is what sits behind the driver. The 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder in the early GTS makes 360 horsepower and 310 pound-feet at just 1900 RPM, and that's why it feels effortless in traffic. The 4.0 makes 394 horsepower and 317 pound-feet at 5,000 RPM, then spins to 7,800 RPM, so you have to wake it up and chase the red line. Motor Trend called the GTS 4.0 old-school perfection meets modern capability. The 4-cylinder is the faster appliance. The 4.0 is the car that feels alive. The 991.1 Carrera S carries a 3.8-liter naturally aspirated flat six that spins to 7,400 RPM. It builds torque in a straight line. The 991.2 replaced it with a 3.0-liter twin turbo that makes 420 horsepower and 369 pound-feet from just 1,700 RPM. In daily traffic, the 991.2 is quicker, more efficient, and easier to drive fast. Enthusiasts still call the 991.1 the last classic Carrera because the naturally aspirated engine asks you to work for the power, and the turbo engine gives it away before you earn it. This isn't just about a rattle in the engine, it's about a $25,000 rebuild that wipes out your investment gains in a single afternoon. The 997.1 Carrera S uses the M97 engine, which carries an IMS risk specialists watch closely, and the 3.8-liter cars show bore scoring markers in about 3 to 4% of oil samples. That wear usually shows up on bank 2, cylinders 4 through 6, and it's tied to cold starts and short trips. The 997.2 switched to the 9A1 direct injection engine. It has no immediate shaft, and Blackstone Labs data shows those markers dropped to roughly 1.3%. The 997.1 trades at a discount because buyers fear the risk. The 997.2 commands a premium because the market calls it the sorted platform. The flat six mounted where it belongs isn't a marketing choice, and it isn't something you can fix with a software update or a bigger turbo because the feeling lives in the architecture, not the output. It's the reason the car talks back. Get this wrong and no amount of horsepower buys it back. 3 pillars down. Each of the 3 is an engineering decision you can verify before you sign, which means each is a mistake you can avoid. But there's one more trap, and it's where most buyers actually blow their budget. Even if you pick the right model with the right engine and the right chassis, you can still spec yourself into a bad investment the moment you start clicking boxes on the configurator. Porsche's configurator makes you feel like you're building a custom car. In reality, you're making depreciation decisions. Many buyers pay the idiot tax by spending $10,000 on leather in a base Macan, trying to buy the feeling through aesthetics rather than engineering. You can't option your way out of a chassis mistake. Performance options like Sport Chrono, PASM, and suspension upgrades typically recover 60 to 85% of their cost at resale. Cosmetic options usually recover 25 to 40%, and heavy personalization can fall to 20 to 35% because the used market won't pay full price for someone else's taste. A $10,000 paint job on a base Carrera might return about $2,500 when you sell. A $3,000 Sport Chrono package might return about $2,000. On faster dropping cars like the Taycan and Panamera, that hit gets worse because the base car is already sliding. Spec for the next owner instead of your ego. Mechanical options protect capital. Cosmetic options burn it. Under 90K, 991.1 Carrera S manual, 718 GTS 4.0, or a well-sorted 997.2 Carrera S. The 991.1 gives you the naturally aspirated flat six. The 718 gives you the six-cylinder mid-engine layout. The 997.2 gives you the sorted 981 engine and hydraulic steering. All three protect capital better than a new base 718 or base 992. 120K. This is the warning zone. A base 992 Carrera with $30,000 in cosmetic options is a depreciating appliance, while a 991.2 Carrera T or a clean 991.1 GTS manual gives you the architecture that actually creates the feeling. Buy the car meant to be remembered, not the one loaded to distract you. 160K. This is where the engineering and price finally line up. A 992 Carrera GTS is the modern balance pick because it gives you real speed, daily usability, and stronger resale logic than a loaded non-GTS car. A 991.2 GTS still works if you want turbo torque in a smaller package. A 997.2 GT3 sits in the $145,000 to $205,000 range. And that range tells you the market already knows what the sorted platforms are worth. The Porsche feeling is priced in decisions, not dollars. Start with the platform and the drivetrain instead of the badge or the options list, because the right architecture will still feel special long after the new car smell fades. I'm Dave, and this is Porsche Pulse. Thanks for watching.